Hey Luigi!
Hey Dasha,
How are you?
pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. How do you like San Francisco? You just came back again. How's it going?
Yeah, the weather is amazing.
Yeah, the weather is great and I'm excited about our conversation today.
Me too.
So, in your past, you had 100,050 followers on YouTube and now you raised 6.3 million for your startup. Most people go the opposite way. So can you tell me a little bit, why did you go to the tech world?
So I've always been passionate about tech, and I studied. I wrote my first line of code when I was 14, and when you write code, also you approach video games, of course. And I started playing Minecraft, this famous video game. And I started to. I was watching YouTube when I was in high school, and I wanted to start recording videos about Minecraft and this video game, and that's how I started.
What do you miss about this time?
Sorry?
What do you miss about this time?
Oh, around that time, I think also around that time when I was in high school, I stayed up until 2 a.m. in the morning to record the video, and back then I had like 0.7 megabit per second upload, and so I needed to finish the recording and the editing of that video because otherwise it took 12 hours for that video to upload, and otherwise it wouldn't be ready for publishing at 2 p.m. The day after. So I love the hustling, the journey. I think it was the best thing.
What do you think you learned on the way that really helps you now when you're a founder?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think actually the journey when you start posting online or like the YouTube career is pretty similar of being a startup founder, because no one thinks that you could make it, or when you open your YouTube channel and you have 0 subscribers, you have to find a way, right? And you put in so much work without seeing the results, and you grow so slowly, and you learn a lot during the process, and then you reach something, a turning point that basically you grow in a month as much as you grew in the previous 2 years. And I think the journey is pretty similar of building a startup.
Have you ever thought that maybe if you continued, you would be like a famous influencer, making a lot of money, traveling the world, and so on?
I didn't start my YouTube channel for that reason, actually, because back then it was like 2012 and it wasn't cool, it wasn't sexy being a YouTuber, right? And
But now
now it is. Now it is. Yeah.
So you do have some regrets.
Yeah.
Okay. But, now 4,000 companies, right? 8,000 GitHub stars, 1.5 million MCP agents executed with the help of your product. So when you see those numbers, do you feel like you're winning or like that you're succeeding in that?
I feel that we succeeded when we meet developers or within companies saying they appreciate what we've built.
Which of these numbers surprised you the most?
This is a great question, especially during YC when we just got started and the project was just an open source project that me and Pietro built in our bedrooms. It was how many big companies or developers within big companies adopted that.
So I guess this number looks great.
Yeah.
And is there a specific number that is not public, but that you have deep inside your head that you really care about?
Yeah, now that we, of course, the open source part is super important. Now we are focusing also on the product because we want to support and we want to make any developers able to build an MCP server or an MCP app in the fastest way and the easiest way with the best developer experience. The number that we care is like Stripe has in their homepage the total GDP that is passing through Stripe. We want to have that same percentage for the number of tool calls that pass through Manufact.
Love it. This is amazing. And another thing is what are companies actually missing if they're not building MCP apps in the next 12 months, let's say?
Yeah, I feel that nowadays it's like mobile in 2008 when the iPhone first came out.
I love the comparison.
Yeah, and at the beginning, like no one cared, and like the coolest app was drink a beer on your iPhone, and I think that who didn't invest in mobile and early back then, like spend the next decade catching up, and the same will apply for MCP apps and building software for agents in general.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I love this comparison. And yeah, hopefully this is that. And companies should definitely start thinking in this direction. And why do companies need Manufact specifically to build these MCP apps? Why you?
Yeah, so for sure they're adopting our SDK because it makes super easy to build MCP apps. And what we care about is also the vertical integration that when you start building your MCP app, then you run the development server and you have the inspector, so you have a way to test it and to preview it. So this is something we built on top of it. And then the next thing you want to do is to see it working on ChatGPT or Claude. And how you do that with just a command line, the CLI, you will have your MCP app deployed on Manufact. That's I think that's the way it should be.
Okay, and you've raised 6.3 million.
Correct.
How many no's did you hear before you heard the final yes?
Actually, we were lucky enough that our round was like there was a lot of excitement from investors. Of course, we got a lot of no's, but the round moved pretty fast. And I think that MCP since the inception was set to succeed. And but I can tell you like how many no's I got when I was building what I was building before MCP used, that I've always been interested in how agents could interact with software products. And before MCP, there wasn't a way besides computer use agents that would interact with the website, the HTML and the buttons. And back then I tried to raise some money on that for that product in Europe, and like I never got a yes.
So is it Europe versus US, or is it like the combination of the product and the team that made it so exciting and everything?
It's US that is, of course, in the front row in adopting such great technologies and protocols, for example, in our case. And it was the intersection between the readiness and the market, and US also. The being here, of course, it's another story.
What tips can you give to people fundraising right now? Anything to make the run so exciting? I talk to many people, not everyone says that it was such an exciting process. Sometimes people suffer a lot of struggle. So what was the key to success to your round?
I think that as most things in your life, if you don't need what the other person could give you, is the best way to actually get what they're trying to offer. So if you don't need investors, is the best way to actually get money from them. I mean, we were also ready to just be in Cockroach Mode and continue building the open source part.
Yeah. But so basically, try to maybe if you really need money, try to act as you don't need it.
Exactly.
Maybe then it will help you, right?
But I think in general, investors are way more Of course, they know their game they're playing, and they can smell it if you need that, right?
Yeah, you're probably right. And tell me about your co-founder. How did you meet and how did you realize that he's the one to build company with?
Yeah, so I know Pietro because we were both Italians in Zurich. Zurich is such a great
I
hub.
said exactly the same thing.
I mean, Zurich is such a great hub for AI in general and tech and also robotics. And we have all the major labs are there and big techs are there, and it's a great hub for Europe. And we were there. Not many Italians in the doing startup actually.
Yeah.
And in Zurich. And so yeah, I know him. I know what he was building before. Then we catch up. He started building. Actually, he started building MCPUs. He showed me that, and I got super excited. I was unsetting what I was doing before. It was something that it was in line with what I cared. So making a software usable by agents, and that's how we got together.
Yeah, I love that. What is one thing that he does better than you?
Oh.
Yeah, let's try. There should be something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of things.
Maybe
I
not,
learned.
yeah.
I learned a lot from
Yeah.
from Pietro,
Yeah.
and what I learned from Pietro is that you can. Everything is going to be alright if you have fun in the process. And if you enjoy spending time building great stuff with great people, and so that's how also you're not attached to things, and that's how you can reach really great results. And that's a great trait from Pietro.
Yeah, I love that actually. And your first hire was like your CTO, can I say it this way?
Yeah.
Or like the first person that you brought in the company, right? So what should a person have that you can trust him, and can trust him such an important thing as like have such a big role in your company?
Yeah, so Enrico actually was my co-founder in the previous journey, and what I really care is to play long-term games with long-term people, and that's why when we were looking for someone to join our team super early, we were still in YC, and when we started talking with him to him. I was sure that he was the right person, and even if we are all of us are technical, we want to hire. We want to have in our team people smarter than us, better than us, and Enrico is even a better builder than us.
Yeah, and very often companies talk about the culture that is really important, right? And obviously you start small, and then as you grow, the company's culture is really crucial. So what is like one thing that you would protect at all costs as you scale?
I mean, of course, when we scale, I mean, I think that also nowadays you can achieve incredible results with a super small team. So I wouldn't trade the company way of doing things for scaling fast.
And
right?
probably fun is one of these things.
Fun,
right?
of
Having
course.
fun together,
Yeah,
enjoying this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you a good leader?
I think being able to spot the best from people and put them in the position to achieve great results and to do the best work they can do. This is, I think, the best trait someone who's supposedly be the leader must have.
Love that. And what was your first thought when you found out that you got accepted into YC?
Oh, that was actually a fun story. we got the email for the interview the day before, and I had to catch a plane during the interview. So
Yeah.
I had to cancel the flight, and I rescheduled the flight the morning after, saying, okay, in Europe in the morning, morning in Europe is like late night here in SF, so it's fine. We got the interview. The interview was actually the interview length was more than 10 minutes, and usually YC is pretty strict with the 10 minutes rule, and this is a good signal. So if the meeting lasts longer, it's a good signal. But yeah, then we went to bed then pretty early that night because we had to wake up. I had to wake up super early. I opened my phone. I saw the email saying, "Can we catch up still today here in SF?" So it was midnight in SF at 8 in the morning in Europe, and I was. Pietro was sleeping, and so I had to find a way to reach him. And I was at the airport gate. And so at the gate of the airport with my laptop here, making the second interview at YC. And yeah, so when I was, then John, our partner, told us that we were accepted, I exploded in a lot of fun, a lot of happiness at the airport gate. Yeah.
That is such a fun story. It really is.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very often, especially if you're not in San Francisco at this time, it always like it involves some kind of situation, you know,
Yeah.
that people have to like deal with this time zone, you know, find each other, find a way to get this call. I've heard stories that people took these calls from the boats and so on. So that's really crazy. That is fun. And what do you think people get wrong about applying to YC?
Yeah, so as I said, I think that I applied to YC 5 times and I got in the 5th. And we got in when we spent very little time in the application itself. The demo was super scrappy and so on, compared to the previous applications when I optimized a lot. I spent a few days answering questions and so on. But what matters is the traction, is that you're building something people want. So yeah, I would say do not optimize for YC. You don't need YC. When you don't need YC, it's when you can get in.
Okay, so it's always about that this is your like approach.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, top 3 things you hate about US.
I hate about
You're like, okay, let's go. Yeah, you can be honest, it's fine.
It's actually super hard because I'm really grateful that US can give the chance to people, each kind of people. Like I'm coming from a small village on Lake Como in Italy, and even if I studied in a big city, then I moved to Zurich and so on, like the opportunity that US gave me, it's something that I will always be grateful of. Yeah.
Something that
So,
yeah.
3 bad things to US. Actually, I don't know.
So you only see the positive,
Yeah.
which is also great. But is there anything like maybe like cool things here, or like lifestyle or a habit or something that people do or eat or drink that you don't do in Europe, and you're like, oh, fun? Or the opposite way?
I don't know. I think here, especially here in SF, actually here in the US, I've been only to SF, right?
Okay.
So I can tell you about SF, like of course, like bars close pretty early here compared to Europe. It could be good and bad, right?
Right, yeah. Focus on work,
Exactly,
not on fun,
exactly.
That's all done on purpose.
Yeah, and actually my life back in Switzerland wasn't that that different, like work, gym, and that's pretty much it, right?
I see. Okay. Your biggest goal for this year, personal or professional?
Build a great team, and it's hard. Um, of course, we need to reach pretty substantial results in terms of adoption of our product, because okay, we are a dev tool company, so with a strong open source presence, and this is hard because you need to score 2 home runs. You need to get a lot of love and adoption and traction in the open source part, and at the same time you need to build the product where you can capture the value, and this is a challenge. Doing only one thing is a challenge, and we have to do both. So the open source part is growing a lot, the adoption is there, so now we're focusing on the product.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luigi. High
Thank
five.
you, let's do it.
Hey, Pietro, how are you?
Very good. Dasha, how are you?
Good. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you for hosting this.
Of course. So, how is San Francisco treating you?
Wonderfully. I think this is the best weather I've seen in San Francisco since I got here in NYC, I have to say. And lots of energy. I was telling you before about this event. Meeting lots of founders, met some old friends. San Francisco is always a different energy. So, loving it.
In a good way. Yeah.
Oh, in a wonderful way.
How did you meet Luigi? And how did you understand that he was the right guy to build a company with?
You know, actually, I understood that Luigi was a great guy to build a company with without even meeting him. Because,
Really?
yeah, so Luigi is a hustler type in all of its manifestations. And the first manifestation that I could see before meeting him was the posting. He was posting, commenting everywhere about everything, and I love this because you can see like he really cares, and I know how important it is, and so even before meeting him, I like, oh, this guy knows how it's done, and then I met him in person, and aside from the fact that he was like doing this posting thing, I just found the person that has a very similar background to me and a similar set of shared values. And that for me is like the clicking moment. Is where you speak about anything and it just makes sense what the other person is saying and resonates with what you think about stuff, right?
So you met him online and you almost like wanted to meet him in person?
No, it's like, first of all, two Italians, two Swiss guys into startups, like it felt like we knew each other immediately.
Okay.
Plus I was seeing the posts all the time. And so in my mind, Luigi was already a friend. And then when we actually met at SPH in this place in Switzerland, it was like, oh, hello, Luigi. And he was similarly, hello, Pietro. and it
Almost
felt
like a love story.
no, I mean, in a way, right? It's, I think you can sense that somebody is similar to you, like just from the air, from the social presence in this case. And then when you meet and you just start talking about stuff, it feels like, yeah, you bounce off each other.
So it's not like a test, it's a feeling.
It's not a test. It's never a test. How can that be a test?
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, can you do this or that? So
No.
it's just like really a feeling deep inside you.
Yeah, I think the feeling is everything, right? And actually, I want to quote Steve Kerr that I heard from him yesterday when asked about how do you pick people to work with. He said, people, you should choose people that you want to, you look forward to see in the morning. And I think this feeling is very vibey, right? It's not a test. It's not something you can test, it's just something you can feel.
You can handle that, seeing him every morning.
No, not only I can handle it, but I'm looking forward to it, right? We live together also, so I'm forced to. But it's fun. Like every day we wake up and we're like, of course the morning is like a big, slower, but it's always like a laughter situation. We always laugh, we always joke together. It's like, it's great.
This is so sweet. But do you believe that people can find really good co-founders at all these, matchmaking events, like when they try to match different co-founders together?
So I think it's not a necessary condition nor a sufficient one. So it can happen, but it can happen everywhere, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a matchmaking event or whatever. So yes, they can.
What do you guys usually fight about, and does it make the company situation worse or better?
I mean, you're asking me this after 10 hours flight from Milan to New York, in which
I hate him.
in which
Hopefully it's not
no,
the
we had this seating situation where it was the two of us basically in almost like a lounge situation in the
Yeah.
flight, and we spent the whole time talking about the future of the company,
Yeah.
what we're doing, what we're not doing, and I think this is not a fight. It's just a discussion, and it's like a discussion where we understand and talk about what each other thinks about stuff. Sometimes we disagree, sometimes we agree immediately, but of course, like disagreement usually resolves in a solution,
Okay.
and the solution is of course good for the company, because I think the most important thing when building a company is that you are happy about what you're doing, and if both must be happy, right? So the fact that we can resolve this conversation and like certain disagreements is basically doing the right thing, and it's moving the company forward.
Yeah, I love that. Great. And what were you doing when you found out that you got accepted into YC? What was the first thought in your head?
So it was a crazy situation actually, because me and Luigi weren't living in the same city, so I had to move to his place a couple hours away by train, and I get back in the night, so it was super late, and I had to sleep. So I go to sleep, but in the US it's a very different time zone, and we were in
I
Europe.
know that.
So basically at 7 in the morning, the guy I was living with in Zurich clocks my room and says, Pietro, you have a YC interview in 15 minutes, like the second interview, right? Which is usually when they tell you you're in. So I basically run into the shower. I'm completely like half asleep, get into the call, and John tells me that we're in, tells us that we're in, and the reaction was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I immediately call Luigi, and we're like, I mean, two babies are screaming, oh yeah, we did it.
So you were really, really excited.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, right? Like Luigi applied 4 times, I applied 3 times. This was one of the biggest dreams, and like having done it together, and in the way we did it, also because it was such a fun thing, doing it very spontaneously. Literally, like I think the first Notion page we wrote had rock and roll as a header, and in the YC interview, we really literally done it in like a half an afternoon, I think. So super quick without overthinking it, like with certainty and boldness, and that resulted in getting accepted. And that felt like, of course, right? You don't have to try too hard. Like you just have to be cool. You just have to be yourself. You just have to enjoy doing the process, and things are gonna turn out well. And when they do in this way, I think it's the biggest joy. Like you didn't have to stress it even.
I love this story. Okay. And like everyone keeps talking about how exciting it is to be in YC and how amazing it is, but what was actually the hardest part about going through this 3 months intense program?
So first of all, it's not 3 months. Everybody says it's 3 months. It's actually 10 weeks, and demo days, or when you start actually fundraising, is 2 weeks before the 10th. So it's 8 weeks. So it's actually 2 months where you have to grow. And that's actually fun. Like growing. It's very fun. I think the hardest part is when it all comes to show in the fundraising weeks, right? So when you have to actually show the work you've done to all the investors, and of course, being through YC, there's some pressure for you to do a good job at fundraising, because that's the biggest chance you're gonna have in your life. And I think the pressure just before those days was pretty high. So yeah, that was probably the hardest part, like to just cope with the pressure, be calm, and keep being yourself.
Was it also hard after Y Combinator, when you like go back to your normal life and you don't have this crazy schedule and a lot of pressure on your shoulders?
I mean, it's notably, there's this period called the YC Slump, the post-YC Slump, right?
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole paper about it. We have it in the kitchen. and it just tells you, of course, like you're gonna have a drop of dopamine or whatever, and just keep doing the thing, right? Don't get crazy. Don't start doing new things. You know how to do it. Just keep doing it. Adapt the pace, and of course, YC space is not. Yeah, it's very hard to keep for a lifetime. So I think you have to adapt, and you have to find your new pace, like the one that you're gonna have to keep for 10 years.
Hopefully it's going well.
Yeah, no, it's going wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, and that's not your first company, right?
No, I don't.
So it's your second company. And what did you learn from the first company that you're doing differently right now?
So one thing that that we're doing very differently compared to the first company is that in my previous company we had really separate roles, me and my co-founder, and we weren't sharing a lot of the knowledge. Also because we were very different persons and we have very different backgrounds. With Luigi, since we are very similar in both background and personalities, I think it comes natural that we share a lot of the knowledge, and I enjoy this a lot because as much as you want to separate responsibilities, if there's a question about a particular customer or about outreach, I want to be involved in the decision as much as Luigi wants to be involved in my decisions, maybe about some technicality or some open source community thing, right? And in this way, if you share the knowledge without stepping it on each other's toes and accepting that this will happen, right? Like we'll get angry at each other sometimes because we stepped into each other's toes, but it's fine. We'll just accept it, move on. Next time it'll be better. And so basically, I think this kind of not siloing the responsibilities in the sense there is a shared knowledge and like we ask questions about each other's job every day, and we can because we have kind of the same background. It's this is the most different thing that I've been doing in this company. Yeah.
This is great. This is great. And also another big thing that I want to talk right now about is why MCP?
Why MCP? I think the reason why MCP is, I mean, there's a YMCP then and there's a YMCP now. I think YMCP now, to me, is pretty clear. You see all the major labs and company betting on this technology with MCP apps and the several like advancements in the protocol that have been made by the labs, which really reinforce the fact that like being a standard, it's like being a good standard is a matter of how much you are adopted, and in this case, all the major labs are adopting it. So I think it's clear that this is gonna be there to win. I expect a lot of growth from the protocol itself. In fact, this is happening already, and I think also alternatives like CLIs that you hear about a lot are fine. They just have a different use cases. And I mean, I could rant for hours about why MCP is better than them for some use cases, but maybe more interesting is why MCP in the first place. I remember I was hacking around, right? Like when I first wrote the library, and the wow moment was like writing, creating an agent that could access the Playwright MCP, which is this browsing tool, right? And in 6 lines of code, I could basically write a browser agent, which I knew for a fact is not a thing that you can usually do in 6 lines of code. And this is only through the power of standardization and connecting to systems that are built by different people. My agent, the Playwright MCP, which I haven't authored. And I think this was so powerful to me that I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be huge.
So why do you think, what are companies missing if they're not building MCP apps?
I think they're not gonna be able to, personally, I don't like use products without MCP anymore. Like for me, that's a necessary condition for me to use a product because I use them through agents all the time. Like write an email, write the draft, please, agent, and then I'll check it. Write a linear ticket. Who does that manually anymore? So I think a company is missing a lot of usage that will come from people like ours that use agents all the time, and I think this is a growing majority of the people. So just they're missing a lot on traffic and being part of the next era of software where software will not be used by humans.
Yeah, I see. And what is the final goal for you with Manufact?
I think this is such a cool revolution, right? The one that I just mentioned, that being part of this, like pushing the technology and exploring different ways, the MCP technology or whatever agents want technology, is very interesting. I'm very curious and very interested in hard technical stuff that matters. So as far as we can push this forward, I'm the happiest man alive.
Oh my God. Okay. And like, for example, if Manufact gets acquired or like IPO'd, I don't know, whatever, what's next?
I mean, I have so many things that I'd like to do, but like.
So it would be another company again.
Yeah,
Most likely.
probably yes. Like maybe if
You're just like a crazy builder.
yeah, if it goes well enough, I won't care about revenue. Maybe I will do some art project.
Art project.
Yeah, I play the music. I paint. So I have some of the art background that.
You paint.
Yeah, so something like that. Probably more in the hardware design kind of space, but
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've recently raised. Congrats.
Thanks.
What was the hardest thing about fundraising?
To be honest, the preparation, because then the fundraising went really well. Actually, talking to investors was super fun. We had some beautiful investors.
I don't think that every founder says these things, but I'm glad that you had this experience, yeah.
Again, as I was saying before, it was hard to, like, a lot of pressure before, but as soon as you break a bit the sweat, it's just talking to people and convincing that what you're doing is great. And since we focus on making something great from the start, it was kind of natural, like.
But when you say preparation, what do you mean, like? Putting slides together.
Scheduling, well, putting slides together is something that I hate, so that wasn't great. The meetings, all the scheduling, and then just, again, the unknown, right? What are these investors gonna ask? Am I gonna be able to do this? This kind of stuff is like some pressure that builds up until you actually talk to the investors and you get confident. And of course, the more meetings you do, the better you get. And at some point, it just becomes pretty easy. Also, we raised in basically 4 days, so it didn't last long. Yeah.
4 days.
Yeah.
That's super fast. I
Yeah,
know founders trying to raise for 9 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you recommend for, I don't know, like a first-time founder trying to fundraise and trying to get ready for his first or her investor meeting? What would you say to him or her?
But first of all, there's some practical tips. You will read everywhere, just put all the investor meeting together, because this is gonna create some economy of scale where you learn stuff meeting by meeting and you're gonna be always better. And also you can...
You learn the playbook, okay.
Yeah, and also, because I live the playbook, so it's kind of natural now.
Yeah.
So those are practical tips. But as far as you just try to be happy about what you're building. So build something you're happy about, and then you're gonna be able to be happy when you tell about it at investor meetings, and this is gonna make all the difference, I think, because investors can smell the kind of thing, I think.
Okay, yeah, I love it. I think that's probably the right thing to do. And also, how do you, like in your case, like YC probably helped you a lot, right? With like connections or maybe like getting you in touch with certain people or investors. So if you don't know anyone, you just moved to San Francisco, is there something you can do to get this warm connections?
As everything, you can do 2 things, I think, to increase your probability of reaching any objective, which is network. So go to events, meet people. And second, build something that is like undeniable. Like if you have something cool, people will reach out to you. There's no need to stress.
Yeah, most important that other people find it cool too, not only you.
Of course, no, cool for other people, undeniable, in
that's
that sense.
Okay, top 3 things you hate about US.
The
Maybe you have more, right?
The food is horrible. Sorry,
I love it.
Sorry, guys.
No offense,
sorry about
no
that.
offense.
I'm Italian, so I'm also very used to good food, but the food is not great. I don't think there's not, when you go out, there's not, I don't vibe with bars, and it's like it's all dark, very noisy. There's no open European bar. That is the thing I miss about Europe.
Okay, good places to hang out. Let's put it this way. What
Yeah.
else? The third one. People don't smoke.
I don't know. I don't know if I have a third one. The bars are like these two things: the restaurants and bars are really
Okay.
bad. Like
You can live
I
with
really don't like it.
Everything else.
The rest is okay.
Anything you love a lot?
Country music.
Okay, you
I
should go to
love it.
Nashville or somewhere.
I should. Then of course in tech, the startups in general, there's a different energy. You meet people all the time that are doing something cool and similar to what you're doing, and that's very nice to just know that you can find advice in basically everyone you meet, and that's very nice. And you can give advice also. People are very open to give and receive advice, and this is awesome. And the weather in San Francisco is pretty nice.
Okay, and the final one, your main goal for this year, your main focus, personal or professional?
So I think what we did with MCPUs and Manufact is our open source is undeniable. Now I want to see our cloud, our product actually be undeniable. So the best product out there.
Okay, a lot of work. Thank you, Pietro. High five. Yay!